The Wizard of New Zealand is, to my knowledge, the only state-appointed wizard in the world. Or rather, he was, because in 2021, after 23 years of wizardly service, the Wizard of New Zealand lost his job, leaving the country dangerously vulnerable to malicious sorcery. Now, would you prefer to hear how the Wizard of New Zealand lost his job, or how he got it in the first place? Starting from the start, the wizard was born in London, England in 1932, making him 92 years old. He was not a wizard from the very beginning, but in hindsight his latent powers were clear. He served as a navigator with the Royal Air Force, travelling the world, before gaining a double honours degree in psychology and sociology and becoming a teacher. The wizard taught in Tehran in Iran before moving to Sydney, Australia to teach at the University of New South Wales. It was here his wizardry was first recognised, and he was appointed Wizard of the University of New South Wales by the school's Vice-Chancellor and Students' Union in 1969. He managed to convince some other universities to grant him similar titles, but the story really begins in 1974 when the wizard migrated to Christchurch in New Zealand. This is when his wizardly activities started to become known to the public, as he would take a ladder to Cathedral Square, stand up on it dressed in the attire of a spellcaster, and speak publicly. What did the wizard speak about? Well, largely his views on the state of the world, politically and socially, which were presented in such a provocative way it was hard to tell if he was joking or serious.
I'm saying stop pop before it's too late!
Why don't women feel guilty? Because they got very small souls. What they want to do is shopping. See, males are more gentle, more subtle, more spiritual than women. Not all of them. There are lovely women around, nuns in particular. And why are the nuns so special? Because they don't go shopping. I have not done a day's work since 1968. One day. I have paid no income tax since 1968.
This bonkers display amused crowds, so much so that there was public outcry when the police tried to remove him from the area. Thankfully, the wizard had a potion of resist arrest, and his popular support persuaded the council to designate the square a public speaking area, so the wizard could continue his orations in peace. Humorous speech was not the only trick up his sleeve. The wizard was also given to pranks and other jovialities, such as the telephone box war of 1988. That year, Telecom had, for some reason, begun painting their telephone boxes from red to blue, an act that greatly angered the wizard, who saw the change as the pointless result of bureaucratic overmanagement, a favourite topic for his speeches. In response, he began painting the telephone boxes back to red, which Telecom would then paint back blue, and so on and so forth. The wizard was aided in this by his Imperial Army. I didn't mention that before, but the wizard does have a group of pacifist soldiers who engage in mock battles against political opponents. Anyways, Telecom eventually held a poll asking the public if they preferred the new blue telephone boxes or the old red. 88% were on the wizard's side, perhaps due to some enchanting magic. Regardless, Telecom refused to paint back the boxes they had already painted blue, saying they were replacing them all with new plastic payphones the following year anyway, further perplexing and enraging the wizard. The city council provided the wizard and his Imperial Army free red paint so they could paint the remaining telephone boxes back. When the boxes were replaced, Telecom paid tribute to the wizard's victory by gifting him one of the old telephone boxes. By this point, the wizard had already been granted the titles Official Archwizard of Canterbury in 1980 and Wizard of Christchurch in 1982 by their respective councils. He was a well-beloved public figure, drawing crowds with his satirical speeches and performing spells at public events. But in 1990, the wizard received the following letter from the New Zealand Prime Minister. Dear Wizard, I enjoyed bumping into you at the Christchurch Arts Centre last Saturday morning, and it occurs to me that you are currently the Wizard of Christchurch exclusively. As a loyal Christchurch MP, I am pleased about that, but as Prime Minister, I am concerned that your wizardry is not officially at the disposal of the entire nation. I suggest, therefore, that you should urgently consider my suggestion that you become the Wizard of New Zealand, Antarctica and relevant offshore areas. You will appreciate that this will entail becoming a national treasure, in contrast to being a Christchurch treasure. And no doubt there will be implications in the areas of spells, blessings, curses, and other supernatural matters that are beyond the competence of mere Prime Ministers. With this, he had become the official Wizard of New Zealand.
Wizard of New Zealand! I can't believe it!
But it was not until 1998 that the Christchurch City Council signed a contract with him to provide acts of wizardry and other wizard-like services as part of promotional work for the city of Christchurch. In return for these services, the wizard would receive $16,000 a year. Many institutions had granted him the honorary title of wizard, but now he would be paid for this role for the first time ever. The activities of the Wizard of New Zealand are too numerous to recount here, but notably, he drove the Wizard Mobile, a Volkswagen Beetle with 2 fronts and no back. He had a driver's license that recognises his title, and a passport as well, apparently. He was awarded the Queen's Service Medal in 2009 for service to the community. He opposed the bishop's announcement that the Christchurch Cathedral would be demolished after it was damaged in a 2011 earthquake, and the demolition was halted for a number of years. Restoration efforts have only begun fairly recently in 2019. In 2014, he took on an apprentice, Ari Freeman, who was intended to take over the role as the wizard entered old age, but the two have since fallen out. Why? Well, it's the 2020s, and the provocative wizard is very much not woke.
They are wicked. They're all very naughty girls, and they try it on every chance they get. They're using magic.
But, sorry...
And I've watched women for a long time, and they use a lot of magic to control men.
Okay. I would strongly suggest that you wouldn't talk like this in the workplace.
That is seen by many in the Western world as a moral failing, and it's probably the reason why the Christchurch City Council declined to renew the Wizards contract in 2021. They don't want the face of their city to be making bold statements about drag queen story time or anything like that, and the sorcerer is prone to do those things. In all, he was a paid wizard for 23 years, earning a total of over $350,000. Pretty cheap for a wizard, and we can't forget he'd been wizarding for free for most of his 50 years in the trade. When asked if he would curse the council over its decision, he said he preferred to give blessings. Wouldn't be me, I'd be zapping all of them. Here's a little something for you, here's a little something for all belonging to you, and here's a little something for the horse you rode in on. If you liked this video and would like to see more videos from me, I am somewhat of a mage myself, being a master of illusion, if lying counts as an illusion. Where was I going with this? Ah yes, watch my videos, subscribe to my channel, join the channel membership and give me money, and until next time, stay safe.
Pastors of an evangelical church who say they speak for thousands of local Christians say the wizard is waging a spiritual war, and the plaque is an attempt to stamp his authority on the heart of the city.
God talks in his word about people who curse and people who bring ruin to cities, and wizards are among those type of people.